In an age when the world was divided among scattered kingdoms and empires, in the vast land of Iran, a name echoed across the realm, a force that belonged not to a king, nor to a battle, but to itself, the Immortals. 10,000 men, said to be unbreakable in number. If even one fell, another would instantly take his place by sunset, restoring their ranks. This was what made them immortal, not through magic, but through the relentless discipline and loyalty they carried in the heart of Iran. The story of this legendary force began when the empire needed something extraordinary, a force that would not only fight but embody the power and order of Iran. Ordinary armies were vast but scattered, brave, yet chaotic. There needed to be a force that, when it appeared before the eyes of the enemy, would strike awe before a single blow was exchanged, while the people of Iran felt security and strength radiate from their presence. Selecting 10,000 men from across the vast lands of Iran was no easy task. From the Zagros mountains to the plains of Pars, from the fertile lands of Media to the orchards of Khuzestan, men came forward to face trials. The tests were not simple, not for strength, not for speed, but for discipline, silence, and unity. 10 men had to move as one. If one faltered, all failed. In the end, only 10,000 emerged from across Iran, men who feared order more than any sword, yet wielded their strength to instill terror in their enemies. Their first assembly on the wide plains of Iran marked the beginning of their legend. 10,000 men stood in perfect ranks, their armor and cloaks shining under the sun. Shields bore the image of the winged lion, and spear tips gleamed like molten gold. People watching from afar said, "These are not men, they are the shadow of Iran's order." From the very start, the Immortals had three defining traits that set them apart: silence, coordination, and constant presence. No army in the world combined these qualities. Their commanders gave no shouts, commands passed silently through gestures and nods. Their footsteps, far from chaotic, beat in perfect rhythm, like the pulse of a vast Iranian heart. Their fame began even before their first battle. When the people of Iran saw them, they whispered, "These are the living force of Iran." Children stared in awe, and elders bowed in respect. They were the living banner of the Iranian Empire. Sometimes, just their passage through a city was enough to quell rebels and secure the trade routes. The battlefield, however, was where the legend truly came alive. As enemy forces appeared on the horizon, the Immortals positioned themselves at the heart of the formation, not on the wings, not behind, but where the first and heaviest blows would strike. When the order to advance came, there were no cries, no chaos. 10,000 men stepped forward in perfect unison. Spears rose in flawless lines, shields formed an unbroken wall, even the wind seemed unable to pass between their ranks. This discipline was so terrifying that enemies often said, "The Immortals of Iran cannot be defeated, they can only be fled from." When battle began, the Immortals relied on relentless pressure. They never rushed recklessly, nor did they retreat. Each step drove the enemy backward. And if one of their ranks fell, another immediately took his place. The line never broke. This was the secret of being immortal. But their power was not only in war. In times of peace, the Immortals played a vital role. They guarded the great treasures of Iran, escorted envoys, protected trade caravans, and accompanied foreign ambassadors. Sometimes, they walked through the great cities simply to remind the people that security and order flowed from these 10,000 men. Their presence brought peace and assured the people that Iran stood firm. Years passed, and the Immortals did not weaken, they only grew stronger. New generations replaced the old, training more precise and disciplined than ever. Many empires tried to replicate them, but failed. Why? Because being immortal was not just a title, nor a number, it was a culture. A culture where nobility, strength, silence, and loyalty to Iran were inseparable. Anyone who joined the ranks knew that they were not only stepping into battle, they were stepping into the honor of Iran itself. The Greek historian Herodotus once wrote about them, "The Immortals are the most perfect force I have ever seen." It was not just praise, it was a confession. A confession that this 10,000-strong force had no equal in the past, the present, or the future. Though centuries have passed, and empires have risen and fallen, their name still shines in the history of Iran. When tales of legendary armies are told, alongside Roman legions and Japanese samurai, one name carries the greatest weight. The Immortals of Iran, an army that never dies, because it never dwindles. 10,000 men, 10,000 legends, a shadow that still stands across the history of Iran.